Hello everybody, today we're playing Woodle Tree 2 Worlds. This is a game made by Chubby Pixel, not their first game, nor their first game on Steam, but this game is available on Steam for $4. That's US dollars, and it was available since September 16th, 2016, and it's, what else we got? It's a single player or multiplayer, talk more about that later, platforming open world puzzle game, kind of. It's exploring. It says it's an action adventure. There is combat, we'll talk about that. But I view it mostly as a platformer and mostly, and with some puzzle aspects to it, sort of. Anyways, so first of all, you can already tell it's super cute. And look at the world. I mean, it's a massive map. It's a very massive open world game. Lots of credit there to the size of the map they were able to make. Oh, hello, music. And whoop, loading. These loading screens happen as you shift from like one zone to the other. That was actually incredibly quick. Normally they kind of take a while. That was a very quick one though. I've never gone in this direction. We're seeing new stuff together here. I considered just recording me playing and then we'll do other stuff, you know, do other commentary later. But there's different zones. We're heading up towards that top watery one. There's the desert one and an island one and icy one, you know how the usual. Oh, there. That's awkward. Loading screen again. It's never happened to me before. And so the concept is you gotta explore around searching for these giant water droplets in each zone, and if you do, the tree that's from each zone back in the main hub world that we were just main like hub area. It's not really a world, but gets another droplet. Once you get all three, it comes back to life. Yeah, this loading screen's a little long. And so, not a bad concept, I suppose. The thing is, we're going to talk about this more, but ultimately, as you progress through the game, nothing changes. That's going to be the running theme of this video, is that this is like a 75% complete game, in my opinion. And it's a 75% complete great game, if that helps. So, you know, you got to collect these fruits that unlock some, nothing more than cosmetics. This little shield that I have is one example of something you can unlock with the fruit. Not, who cares, it's just cosmetic, but it's cute. But maybe that system could be worked into sort of a reward for completionists by maybe getting a couple more abilities or something like that, but nothing like that right now. There's no sprint button, and there's a lot of no man's land, is kind of what I would call it, where you, where you just gotta do a lot of traveling, and so to combat that, there are these yellow flowers that give you speed boosts as you run around. Let's just pause right here for a second and talk about some visual design. Each realm looks distinctly different. This one I guess I kind of went to a more generic plain grasslands looking zone at first, but all of them look distinctly different in terms of color palette, and everything's boxy or these cute little domes that look great. And then you come across this oozing liquid that kills you instantly, and it stands out a lot because that's the evil that's taking over the land, and I think they did a great job designing that. You can pick up water in your little thing here, and you can use it to grow plants. So I'm sure if we travel around here, we'll find one. I'm gonna drop it for now, though. A note about that, there's just some control issues going on. Oh, there's a plant that we can grow. So let's talk about the controls. So basically, pretty simple movement controls, but the swipe, as you can see, it's kind of long. and it doesn't have that much range to it. And when I say long, I meant to say slow. It's very slow. It takes a long time to happen. So it's very difficult to actually hit enemies, especially like these guys. If you were in their path, it's very difficult to sort of hit them in such a way where you don't get hurt. So maybe just a little tuning would be needed there, but you can also charge it up and use a range shot, but it's very difficult to aim. It doesn't lock on to anything or anything like that. It's all about the direction which your player's facing. So you can hit things up close pretty consistently, but if you're trying to go far away, it's like the difference between facing this direction and facing that direction makes all the difference in the world. I think I would have gone with a system where you aim with your camera and there's minimal amounts of lock on, where it shoots in the like the guy will turn when you start charging. Your player should turn in the direction the camera's facing, so you aim with the camera because that's more natural. And then maybe even then it would be difficult because, you know, there's all these questions of what about getting it at the right height and all that other stuff. So it should aim a little bit more for you as well. Because I don't think that combat is meant to be the focus of this game. It's tagged as an action adventure, which to me says maybe they are trying to make combat a focus for the game. I think that what's this? Okay, this is something that will raise you up. I don't think you can swim in this game, so we will drown if we fall in here, I think. Okay, what else do we have to talk about? So we already mentioned it's wicked cute, and I think that the platforming has oh boy, there's a dinosaur under that water. Oh, maybe we don't die if we're underwater. That's weird. There are other locations where if you go underwater, you absolutely... That thing's really cute. I love that thing so much. There are other parts of this game where you absolutely die if you go underwater, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. Maybe those are like bottomless pools of water and I actually fell out the world. Because that is one way in which you die frequently. So this tree's dead. I don't know what... I think we're kind of in the end game spot here. So let's make a move over to the mountainous area over here, maybe. Because I don't think we're supposed to be here until we heal all the trees, which I've only healed 3 of them. Okay, so... let's talk about multiplayer later. There's an interesting concept with the multiplayer, but first let's talk about some stuff that I've experienced that's not so good, just to be aware of if you think you want to pick up this game. Buggy for me at this stage in the game. I don't really know it now that I've sort of figured out what can sometimes cause it to be buggy. I've actually not had any problems. But initially, I had some problems where when I respawned at a checkpoint, all right, you know, we're going to have to reset. We're not in a good place. Let's go back to the main hub and pick a different direction, because I'm not really sure what to do there. Let's go... See, here's the trees. I haven't gone this way. Let's go this way to this square little tree. These cute little... they look kind of like candy to me for some reason. What's that? Is that a bird? Sleeping bird, maybe? Oh, he's a big'um. Whoa! That's funny. See, it's got so much charm to it. So much charm. I think the developer has been pushing out some performance improvements recently, but and maybe that includes some bug fixes, but I think there's a few ways to go. Elevators have launched me up way high in the air. Checkpoints have caused me to start moving around with inability to move my camera, and also like the walking animation and everything stops. He just sort of like glides around without actually moving. Things like that happen. Oh, loading screen again. And the combat, sometimes I feel like some things are buggy, but I'm not sure. It might just be not all that responsive. But I really don't think that combat is supposed to be the focus of this game. Maybe I'm wrong about that. If I am wrong about that, then some things could be tweaked. Because I generally just run past enemies and have no problem. I don't see a reason to fight anybody. They can hurt you, but you don't seem to get anything out of killing them. Maybe you get some of the fruit and some fruit points. Like I have 1,004 points. Each time I get a fruit, I get another one. Maybe you get some. Maybe you get some fruit or something for killing enemies, but I don't think you do. And even still, probably wouldn't be worth it because you don't want to die, because you're going to have to go back to a checkpoint. And actually, did I just step on a checkpoint? I can show you what they look like. This is a checkpoint right here. They're pretty sparse, pretty unforgiving with the checkpoints, I found. Some locations are better than others. Wow, that water's kind of loud. I can't really turn down volumes individually. Whoop, hit that guy. Individually. Whoa, there's another guy. Did not see him. Oh, we're dead. So it's not clear how many hits you can take. You certainly can take more than one, I would guess, just based on the way video games usually work. Maybe you can take 3 hits. I've never counted. I don't know if you heal over time. I don't know if there's anything you can do to reset your hits. But sometimes I play for a very long time. Okay, these guys don't appear to be killable unless I'm just not hitting them. No, see, I'm turning. See how long it takes for that to charge up? He swings his thing and I go to turn away, but it doesn't come out. You have to wait to the actual... Yeah, you can't seem to... I can't seem to kill them. So let's just move on without it. There's pretty much no enemy variety. These are... I will say this is the first time I've seen this enemy, but there are many enemies... Oh. There we go. Many enemies that are... You just see everywhere, and that... I think the 3 zones I've been in have been populated by the same, like, 4 enemies. These guys are really fast and kind of annoying. Really hard to hit. Yep. It's really hard to judge when you should swing your leaf. I just wish it was a little bit... Even if you couldn't spam it, but if it swung as soon as you hit the button, and then you could, and then you had to like time the second ones, that would just be so much more enjoyable to me than having this problem where I keep swinging and where I think I saw a plant that needed water a second ago. There it was. Yeah, I have to hold down the button to hold this thing above my head, so I'm holding it down with my thumb because I'm playing with the controller, which I think was slightly more enjoyable. I think the thing I'm about to complain about is probably not a problem with the mouse, but in order to turn my character, I have to use the right thumbstick, and I have to press Y button with my thumb to hold that thing above my head. So basically, I hold the thing above my head with my thumb, and then like I sort of moosh it with my finger. So I got to, in order to try to get that to work. I don't know what that just did, but let's go keep moving through. It does seem to be hanging. The frame rate was not great when I played before. And now that I'm recording, it seems like it's skipping and hanging. So there's something to be, aware of. But it's also just kind of hard to tell. It might not actually be lagging. It might just feel like it's lagging because everything you do in this game just seems slightly sluggish to your responses. So I've gotten used to it now where... okay, let's see. I have to bring water there. I've gotten a little used to it now where I have to push my buttons before I actually want the action to happen. You can kind of get that timing under your fingers, which is... Oh, there we go, we died. I don't know how many hits we took, but we died. We got this checkpoint, so it's fine. It's one of those things where I think as a developer, you don't realize what's going on so much. You don't realize... Like, your brain adjusts to the delay, just like after playing this game for a little while, my brain has adjusted to the delay. And then you don't realize there is one, and so new players pick up your game and they say, this isn't controlling just right. This is slightly slower, slightly less responsive than I knew the developer, I've been there. I mean, I've worked as a game developer before, and I definitely in my mind, know exactly how it should feel. In my case, I remember, it was scrolling through a list on a menu. I knew exactly how I thought it should feel, and that's only because I was used to it, and because I made it and I was expecting it. And other people were like, "Whoa, that's way too, that's not right. Something about that's a little not right." And I kind of think there's a lot of that going on, which is why I say this is a great game that's 75% done. It's slightly more enemy variety, and we're going to talk about the actual puzzles and platforming here in a second, but and just slight polishes to some of the things, some of the ways that this game works would make it great. But as it is right now, it just feels not quite there yet, despite the fact that someone's putting a lot of work on the visuals and a lot of work on the world design. I mean, the design of this whole world and this whole one giant level is, I think, great. I mean, it's really fun to walk around in. It's really fun to glide around in. And you can go anywhere. You really can. There's no, like, invisible walls that I can see stopping you going from anywhere. If you can manage to find a way to jump on top of a rock, you can jump on top of that rock. There's no guidance whatsoever as to where you go. Definitely seems like there are multiple paths to get someplace. Okay, but now let's talk about the actual platforming, because that's a pretty good transition. So the actual platforming is, I said before, a little unforgiving, and it is, because of the sparsity of the checkpoints and because you're repeating some parts sometimes that are a little slow. Alright, do we have to feed some plant here? Some of this water? I don't know. Oh yeah, it's over there. So that's a little annoying if you're at a hard part where you're continuously drowning or continuously falling off and you have to redo these long stretches with no checkpoints. Not every part is like that, but a lot are. And it's not so bad, though, because there really aren't that many points where when you fall off, you have to go back to the checkpoint. Like, if I fell off here, I would just be back where I was a second ago. So it's not that big of a deal. It really, that's a very minor issue, I think, compared to the bigger issue of these puzzles kind of seem similar. Coupled with the enemy variety, you kind of, it's like, well, coupled with the enemy variety and the fact that I just prefer to run past them, and the reason why I prefer to run past them is it's way easier that way, and I don't believe I get anything out of actually fighting them. So, you can outrun pretty much anything, and that's probably an easier way to go. But, like I said, it's a massive world, and it's designed well, and it's fun to explore around, but unless you're on the path, there's nothing to do. As far as I can tell. I haven't found any little secret areas or anything like that before. And see that dotted path there? You follow that, you get to the, you follow this and you get to the droplet. That's kind of how it works. So what's the point of it being open world? Well, I'm not really sure if I can answer that, but I can say that the world is designed so well that I have definitely strayed from the path many times because I'm curious, and that's a good thing. But I don't seem to. What seems to happen when I actually do that is I will pretty much wander around in a beautiful, cute no man's land of nothing to do, and then find the path again by mistake. Think, oh, I should follow this to the objective now, and then realize I'm not actually sure. Am I backtracking on the path? Am I going the right way on the path? So I probably should have just stayed on the path to begin with, if I'm looking to complete the game. If I'm looking for a relaxing experience in a cute world playing as a cute little guy, then, maybe it's worth it. But otherwise, if I'm actually looking to complete the game and advance forward, then there's no real reason there's no real reason to take advantage of the open world. You should just stay on the path for each area, and you'll get through it a lot quicker that way. But I wouldn't necessarily say that you want to continue on the path and advance forward, because there isn't a story. There isn't a progression that I can see after playing approximately a third of the game or more. I have not unlocked any new moves. I've unlocked a couple cosmetics. I have not seen any new moves, and I have not seen any thing that I didn't see in the first one for the most part. You know, you're pretty much just doing the same type of platforming, and it's a good type of platforming. It's kind of like a classic kind of platforming. It reminds me very much of my childhood playing like Croc 2 or maybe like Super Mario 64. It's like that kind of platforming. Good, I approve, but you know, how much of it can you really take before you would like something to be switched up a little bit? And given that each realm is different, you could argue, well, once you beat one, then you get to go to another one, and you know, you get a whole new environment. But those environments don't seem to come with their own unique enemy types or puzzle types or platforming types even. You know, I'm finding myself filling up this thing of water to grow a plant everywhere I go, and close enough, there we go. And it doesn't do anything different anytime I do it. It's always the same thing, and you know, yeah, it's like what's in this game is great, but it just feels like they've set themselves up for something awesome and sort of stopped short. Right, a couple. If they kept the same models for every enemy, but maybe a different skin on them, and then also, you know, depending on what realm they're in, they have a different move, like a different something. I don't know. I mean, that could be okay. That looks like. See, it looks like we've goofed here, because I think we're at the end. I think that was the third water droplet, and we missed the other two somehow. Yeah, and if there was some sort of progression, like now you can triple jump, or now you can dash forward and backwards, or maybe now you can sprint, so that those times in No Man's Land traveling, when you're going off the path, you don't have to spend so much time trying to search for things that you find interesting. You know, they put in so much work on this world. It's so good, it's so beautiful, and they clearly have a good developing theme here of evil taking over the world, and you're a little plant guy, and you're going to try to, you know, bring back the trees. But maybe even if they didn't want to do any progression gameplay wise, maybe it would have been not so bad of an idea to actually put in a little bit of plot. This thing about evil and bringing back the trees is something I got from the Steam page after I had been playing the game for a while. The actual game does not mention much of a plot at all. The big tree just sort of gives you 3 little cards. Like, it almost reminded me of Anarchute, where it was very minimal, but then Anarchute had these like cutscenes, these full movie cutscenes that really made it clear what was going on, and this did not in terms of story mode, or in terms of story, which not every game needs a story. Maybe the developers don't want one. That's fine too, but if there's no story and there's no new moveset, there's no progressions, then I probably am not going to take the time to go through all these trees. Now, they did do something that I think could help a lot, and that is they've added multiplayer. So this is actually, as they say, they call it an MMO. I don't know if I would really call it an MMO, purely because I tried it out and I was the only one on. But theoretically, if there were other people playing the game right now, what we could do is we could join the world together and start trying to, you know, make some headway and save these trees together. There wouldn't be any advantage to that. I don't believe you actually can help each other or interact with each other really in any way. There was no indication that you could do that. Granted, I didn't try it because there was no one else on, but I didn't see any indication that that would be what it was like. It seemed more to me, come on, there we go. It seemed more to me like it was more just to have fun with each other, and you know, maybe sort of you compete with each other, like, oh, did you manage to make that jump? I can't make it. That kind of a thing. Could be fun. I think having other people is a great way to make games more fun. with the developers not having to do any work. And that's not a criticism, that's just I think that's just fact. Maybe we should go up there? Oh yeah, there's a droplet up there. Okay, let's see. What we have to do here. Alright, fill that up with water. Now we gotta... Oh, gotta go up the stairs. Oh boy. So here's a little puzzle. How do... Oh, hurry, hurry, hurry! Oh, I don't want to miss it. I'm gonna miss it. I missed it. Alright, let's kill this guy. Can't kill him with the water on your head. Also hard to move with the water on your head because I'm busy holding down the button to make sure the water stays on my head. Missed it again. Yeah, so MMO I think is a great idea. It's too bad, I think, that there wasn't anyone on. I would have really liked to try it. I think that was a good move. There is a claim that there's local multiplayer. That I could not figure out how to do. There's no menu for this game whatsoever. This is the menu. You can change the quality, you can change the mouse sensitivity, and you can quit. And whoop! I don't think I quit there. I hit resume. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I think maybe I accidentally nudged the analog stick just a little bit, because that is a really sensitive menu. Well, I guess it's not that sensitive. I don't know what happened, but I quit the game apparently. So we're back here, lost all that progress. That's a little unfortunate. But I could go back to that region and get that one later. Let's take this opportunity to check out another realm. Another world. So, I was talking about how I couldn't figure out how to do the local multiplayer, but another thing that I think I've pretty much loading screen again. Pretty much talked about everything, but I don't think that having multiplayer of any kind affects the actual gameplay. Because maybe you can see how someone else is doing the jump if you can't figure it out. But for the most part, like, you're still just doing the jumps, you're still just flipping the switches and loading screen again. You know, I can't imagine that all these puzzles suddenly change and be cooperative if someone else joins. I don't know that to be true, but I'm strongly guessing that that's the case. It's mostly about just having other people there, which improves the experience. Alright, this is another realm I've never been in before. Yep. So, you know, a couple more little systems in this game I think would make all the difference. Some sort of either a progression or giving you different gadgets or different abilities. That would be great. Some sort of little story. Maybe as you get, maybe each tree has a little dialogue and a little side quest about, you know, I had an acorn in my tree and a squirrel took it. Like, bring it back to me. If you can, just a little side quest. Whoop, hello. It's a Yeti. I think that just would be slightly more engaging because right now there isn't much of that. But it's like so close though, right? Because, I mean, look at this guy, right? He's not in any other world. He could have a little dialogue or a little side quest or a little sassy back and forth with the player character that's just a little bit more engaging. But he just seems to be a reskin of another enemy, and it doesn't seem to do anything different. And so it's, whoa, lots of enemies. Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, this is another problem that you're experiencing right now, which is that each enemy has its own music type, and they don't overlay well. And it becomes a little crazy. I like the idea of each enemy having its own music type, but it gets a little much. So I've said pretty much everything that I want to say about this game. It's weird. I almost wish it wasn't early access because it's something that I think I could come back to with, you know, if I knew that there were a couple more systems in place for this game. But as it stands right now, I don't think I will. I think I've seen what I would like to see, and that's mostly in the aesthetic, which is not a problem. Playing a game for the aesthetic is great. There are many great games where that's the case. But, yes, I don't know. Maybe if the platforming maybe if there were just a few more checkpoints so that things were easier, and then it was just about experiencing it for the aesthetic, but I don't think it is about that. I think the developers tried to make it challenging, and I think they succeeded in many situations in making it challenging, but challenging does not mean, just because I'm challenged doesn't mean I'm going to want to play it for a very, very long time. So I'm glad I'm playing it. Is it worth $4? Depends. If you want a casual Zen experience where you're liking the vibe and you're liking the way this looks with the platforming and just sort of enjoying looking at the cute things, that's great. If you are a platformer junkie, maybe not, because you're going to be doing pretty rudimentary platforming that is good and fun and well thought out, but no change to it. No, missed it. You know, it's the same sort of double jump and glide style platforming. Really, the main twist to it is that it's open world, and when they say open world, they really mean it, because you can go anywhere, really, and it seems really well thought out in that sense, but you just kind of come back to the question of why, how long. Oh, was that a slidey platform? Alright, here's a new mechanic. I've been playing for however long, and we just come across a slidey platform. Not by any means a particularly unexpected one, but it's new, I guess. Yeah. Alright, I think that's going to be it for me for now. Thanks for being an awesome audience. If you want to check this game out, check it out on Steam. Again, it's called Woodle Tree 2 Worlds.